So welcome to my new video. Okay, what's special about this video is that this is a wrap-up. It's a wrap-up of my in-ear earbud collection, because today I just got the one that will wrap up the collection, and it's a surprise. But first I'll go through I can't go through all the earbuds that I have because it would take forever. There are some that I'm selling, I'm trying to get rid of because I just absolutely don't need them, and I'd rather have the money. And the other, alright, so my previous best earbud was the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 4, and it's one of the ones that I'm trying to get rid of now. In fact, it is the main one I'm trying to get rid of. It's still brand new because this is another one. It's the warranty replacement from the previous one that I had. Oh, settle down. And here it is, Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 4 in this color. That was my absolute favorite color, my most favorite color. The copper black. I do not know why it is having a hard time filming with a consistent focus. But before this, there's something else that I got. Okay, something that I got silently. Let me just get everything. Not everything, but the most relevant ones. And that was the Bose Wilkins the Bose Wilkins PI8. Bose Wilkins, oh my god, it's taking so much time to focus. The Bose Wilkins PI8 was the other best earbud that I had. In fact, this is an old school type of packaging. It's very hefty, and you have to do this and then that, and there we go. So much in it. These days packagings are no longer as my god, you know what, these days packagings are no longer so complex. They're very straightforward. But this is a very expensive earbud, and I think they're just trying to give a premium experience, which I truly don't give a toss about. However, I did have a problem with the Technics az100 packaging because it was very basic. You can have basic without being terrible, like Sennheiser. You see, Sennheiser is very basic, and it still feels like something, you would not guess. It still feels like something good, but the Technics is way too basic. I hate this thing, What is it? And especially the way that you have to open it. It's like, instead of sliding, you have to open with this basic ass box, cardboard material. So you open it like this, and you lift it, and you have all these complicated things. Oh my god, what a mess. What a mess. What a mess. I shouldn't have opened. So that's the Technics az100, and you have this thick ass book. Oh my god, I need to read this. Why is it so thick? Yeah, I need to read this, so I keep it on standby. Man, I shouldn't have opened. I regret my decision. Yeah, so this is the Technics. It's a mess. It's better not to open it. But then there is also the Bose QC Ultra. Now these are all the best high-end earbuds that you can actually buy. Yeah, it's all the best high-end earbuds that you can buy. This one is also very minimalistic. The packaging very simple, easy to reveal the earbuds, and it's a very special experience. But I just don't like the color of the box. Maybe the green is what I don't like. Okay. And now for the buds. Okay, I need to get them on the table the quickest way possible. And I figured out a way how. Watch. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. That was the worst thing I've ever done on camera. But anyway, So here we have the four best high-end earbuds. Now the Technics, it's gone through the most. It is the best out of the three because it is the best. But it's gone through the most because I just dropped the case recently. I was walking outside, it was in my bag, and somehow it flew out the pocket because I forgot to close the zipper like an idiot. And I felt it in my heart. Because this is the best earbud that I have ever bought. The Technics az100. So let's have a look at each one of them. Alright. This is it. The best looking is obviously going to be the Bose Wilkins. The best fit is between the Bose Wilkins and the Technics az100. And I think I would give them an equal score. Although I think I'm likely to go for the Bose Wilkins, but at the same time, I'm also likely to go for the Technics. So then I give them an equal score. The reason I prefer the Bose Wilkins a little bit is because it doesn't go stretch out my ear canal. However, the Technics, it sort of stretches out my ear canal, not too badly, because you do have to get a smaller tip. If you wear the normal size that you usually wear, it's going to be painful, so you have to go with a slightly smaller size. So then it will still stretch out your ears, but not too badly. In fact, not even badly. You just feel a little bump inside your ear. It won't be much of a problem. I'll quickly forget about it. More so than I forget about the Bose Wilkins. However, Bose Wilkins, it doesn't make me feel that, and will initially be more comfortable than the Technics. The Sennheiser is just the worst when it comes to comfort, and that's the reason why I don't actually like it. And the Bose QC Ultra is very comfortable, especially when you can change the original ear tips. You know, if you can get some third-party ear tips instead of the originals, you know, you'll be really happy with the Bose QC Ultra. However, the Bose QC Ultra never stays on my ears. It likes to always attempt to jump off, and I'm sick of it. This is the reason why you almost never find me wearing the Bose. It is only good for studying and just doing anything that, or maybe just keeping people quiet. If you need your environments to be, or environments to be absolutely quiet, then you want to have the Bose QC Ultra. All right, but today is a special day because there is something we need to talk about. But first, we're gonna have to put this away. So just as I thought that my earbud collection was done, like my quest was over, and I knew, because really, sometimes reviewers will say you don't need to pay to play when it comes to earbuds, but I completely disagree with that. You do. Like, you don't need to pay to get good sound. I mean, you don't need to pay too much money to get a sound that you're happy with, but you do need to pay to get very good sound, that you're more than happy with. So one of the earbuds that made me feel that I did not need to pay to play, was is the ancient Soundcore Liberty 3 Pro. I had a couple of these. I gave one away and I sold another one, and now I only have the oldest one that I have. Now, before I continue, don't come to me asking me if you can have one, because I'm not going to give you, But the Soundcore Liberty 3 Pro was the earbuds that didn't cost too much money, but had a very, 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 my English teacher will kill me. It had a great performance, fantastic. However, once you put it up to one of these, it will just lose easily. But until you test out one of these except the Bose, it can still beat the Bose QC Ultra, but most of these will beat it. I mean, all of the rest will beat it. I also used to like it because it had a lot of bass, but now I don't really. I mean, like the Bose has way more bass, the Technics has more bass, the Bose Wilkins maybe has about the same amount of bass, but just not as excited, but still very good anyway. Yeah, I'd still say that you might still want to have the Soundcore if your bass is really what you want over the Bose Wilkins, because the Bose Wilkins bass is really not, I just like the sound, and the bass is just okay. It's not that great. All right, it's not that it's good, but it's not like a lot of bass if you're a bass head. It's not a lot of bass, but can sometimes be a lot, but can never be the bass, the earbuds that you go to if you really want bass. But the thing is, because the sound is so good, I can't ignore the fact that it doesn't have a lot of bass. And that's what I was struggling to find out. I wanted to know if I could ignore the fact that it doesn't have enough bass. And yes, I do ignore that, because it sounds good, it's comfortable, it has good noise cancelling, good ambient mode, it's perfect. It's basically what I wanted the Sennheiser Momentum 4 to always, what I always wanted the Momentum 4 to be. And it was for the most part, but the comfort, I just couldn't find the most perfect comfort. It is comfortable, it is more comfortable than the Jabra. I even concluded that it was more comfortable than Bose, but those ear tips can give me a hard time sometimes. And you could say, oh, you could buy third-party ear tips. Which one? Comply foams go way too deep in the ears. And I've bought every kind of silicone ear tips that you can buy, from Asla and to SpinFit, and none of them work as well as the original. So you really can't fix the comfort issues with the Sennheiser. It's mostly that the ear tips just start getting itchy over time. And because of that, I got the Bose Wilkins. It's the main reason I bought the Bose Wilkins, which cost about double the price of the Momentum 4. Simply because it's a Bose Wilkins PI8 and not a Momentum 4. But is it worth double the price? If you use your earbuds every day, I would say yes. Yeah, yes. Because you want something comfortable. Since I want something comfortable that still sounds good. And also, when you get the Bose Wilkins, you'll find out it sounds way better than the Sennheiser. Sennheiser still has more bass. Oh yeah, it has more deep bass, but the Bose Wilkins has, satisfactory bass, and it's way more comfortable. And there's no volume control, but that's okay for me. The controls of the Sennheiser, I think, are easier to work with because they're more sensitive. The surface is bigger and easier to tap it correctly. But the Sennheiser has good controls also, and then the Bose Wilkins has good controls also, and also looks really nice. So I do think it's worth it to pay, because the Momentum 4, you could get it for 4,700 rands or 4,500. Well, thanks to Amazon, so we can now get it for even 4,000 rands flat. However, the Bose Wilkins is only 7,000 rands. Yeah, it's only going to be 7,000 rands here in South Africa. So it's about double the price of the Momentum, almost. And I think it's worth it, just because of how much peace it gives you. Not to mention, the cable, the wireless connection, the wireless transmission that the case can provide. If you play video games, if you watch your TV and you don't want people, you want to be, and people around you are making noise, whatever it is. If you just need to have earbuds while watching your TV, this is it. You could use this. So, or if you just need to connect to something that doesn't have Bluetooth, I don't know what it is, that has an auxiliary cable source and an auxiliary port but no Bluetooth, then you can use the Bose Wilkins. That's another great feature. So the Bose Wilkins is more worthwhile than the Sennheiser. However, compared to the Technics, now the Technics, I've never really sat here giving prices, but then I think for this video it is 100% necessary. The Technics, you could get it for 6,800 rands, 6,800 rands, and you cannot find it, you can't really find it locally in South Africa. But when you buy it, it will be 6,800 rands. So it's close to the price of the Bose Wilkins. Sometimes it can even be cheaper. You could get it for 6,000 rands flat. Yeah. So it's close to the Bose Wilkins, but the Bose Wilkins is still more expensive. But between these two, the only benefit of the Bose Wilkins really is the wireless transmission. Outside of the wireless transmission, the Technics is better than this in every single way. The sound quality, I still think the Bose Wilkins is better than the Technics. However, the Technics is a really, really good sound and can also be better than the Bose Wilkins sometimes. It has a much better bass, so much better bass. That bass makes the Technics so much better than the Bose Wilkins, especially considering that the mid-range of the Technics can sometimes match the Bose Wilkins mid-range. However, the Bose Wilkins sound positioning is unique. You could get that on the DVLA Gemini. It has a very high sound positioning, if that makes any sense. The mid-range is like very, very close to you, and it sounds clear than anything I've ever heard. But then on some songs, that you don't really get that effect in the mid-range. So the Techniques will still be better than the Bose Wilkins. But again, the Technics is a better sounding earbud than the Bose Wilkins, but the Bose Wilkins sounds better than the Technics. So I'm saying the same thing, you know, for both of them. Basically meaning none of them cancel out any. You know, I think both of them are great. All right. And then the Bose QC Ultra, this is the worst sounding. However, the price is basically the same as all of these. The price here, the price here now is finally 6,490 rands or something. But you should rejoice, because not so long ago you could not get a Bose QC Ultra in South Africa for less than like 8,000 rands. So this was 8,900 rands. Basically 9,000 rands is what you had to pay to get your hands on the Bose QC Ultra, which I would never ever encourage anybody to do. Paying 9,000 rands for a Bose QC Ultra is the most idiotic move you could perform, you know, or execute. Do not do that. But thankfully it is now cheap. What, not cheap, but it's 6,400 and something on Takealot, you know, Amazon, whatever. You know, wherever you find it, it's gonna be around 6,000 rands, and that's the price that you should pay for it. But is it worth it compared to these? No. It does have the best noise cancelling than all of these, by far, at least 30% more than all of them. And it also has a lot of bass, a little more than the Technics, but I do prefer the Technics bass, because along with because the Technics sound is almost on the same level as the Bose Wilkins, but then he has all that bass. So think about it. Technics is fantastic, it's tremendous. So I still prefer the Technics' bass, because it's, you know, it's more, I think, more regulated. It's more, now the Bose has a lot of resonance, and I still like it, but the sound is really just decent. I cannot justify paying 6,400 rand for something that sounds like this. But if you want the noise cancelling, that's when it's worth it. Anyway, there is one more earbud that I want to talk about, and that will be in the next video. And to give a clue, the Bose is what comes closest to that earbud when it comes to sound. Well, not just sound, but bass. When it comes to bass, Bose is the only earbud that comes closest with that deep resonance, you know, really deep disconnected bass. I love that kind of bass. But I did say the Technics had a better bass, because, you know, the bass is cleaner than the Bose, but it's a little bit less than Bose. Sometimes it could be more, depending on the frequency. And I'm about to talk about it just now. Stay tuned.